Hey VC, it's Travis back again with a brand new vinyl update video, my first of 2021. It's good to be back, still here, still kicking. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. Have a smaller stack of records I wanted to share today, mostly online buys. Quite honestly, I just haven't gone out and done a whole lot of digging. With everything going on, I've been kind of just laying low still, and the nearest record stores to me are about an hour away or so. So I don't get out a whole lot as it is. But yeah, it's, it is what it is. But I got some cool stuff I wanted to just pop on here, say hello, and show you what I got. So the first couple here were ones I intended to show in my last video. I forgot to pull them out of the collection. So it was kind of on a Flaming Lips kick for a while. And I got into them in like the early 2000s or so with like Yoshimi, and I kind of knew some of the albums like around that time, and like the Soft Bulletin and At War with the Mystics, and I've kind of like lost track of them a little bit. They've had like these other like little side projects and stuff, and but their last album that they just released like last year, I think it was actually pretty good, and I like that one. And anyway, I got into them in the early 2000s, and I hadn't really explored like a whole lot of their stuff before, in like the 90s and in the 80s, because they had been a band for like 15 years by the time I knew about them. So anyway, I found a couple of their early albums. I got the Flaming Lips. Here it is, their first album. Pretty sure this is like an original like first press. It's on Pink Dust Records. Still in the shrink. It's got that cool hype sticker. This record is the goddamn living end. Yeah, and this is like way different than what I've been accustomed to, I guess, with the Flaming Lips. This is a lot rawer, not as refined. And it's just kind of interesting to hear, where they came from. I also got this one. I believe this is their second album. Oh my God, the Flaming Lips. It's got this killer collage artwork there. Gatefold. Suppose I could pop that open. Give you a look. I just dig that. That's so cool. But yeah, again, this is a lot different than what they would later become, but still cool to have. This next one here, again, this is one that I got a while ago, and I'm pretty sure I didn't show it in my last video. But I got this at my local record store. By local, I mean again like an hour away. But they still had copies of this. This is from like a record store day several years ago. And they still had a couple of copies left, I think, and he had a markdown like in the clearance. But it's the Black Angels, Clear Lake Forest. It's like a 7-song EP. It's on this clear vinyl too. I'll show you that. Clear vinyl with that real cool spiral label there, red and black. I've just been a big fan of the Black Angels. I think since I seen them in 2007, they opened for Queens of the Stone Age, and I've talked about this on my channel before, I'm sure. But yeah, that just didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I just thought they were just awesome. And I wish I could go see them again soon, but I don't have all their albums on vinyl. I have a couple of them. I think I have most of them on CD right now, but yeah, just killer band, one of my favorites. Kind of like a harder psychedelic kind of stoner rock type thing. Complemented Queens of the Stone Age really well. So I mean, if you're into that, definitely check them out if you haven't heard of them. And they're still around. They're still doing stuff. So next couple here are some of the grunge era type things. Again, I was kind of on a kick with that for a while. Got the latest Alice in Chains reissues, Facelift. I want to say that this one was out of print. Before I made this video, I was thinking that I know that there was like Jar of Flies was on the Music on Vinyl label. I don't have that one. I got Dirt though. That was on Music on Vinyl. And I don't think this one was. I suppose someone could probably correct me in the comments if they wanted. But anyway, this was just reissued not too long ago, a couple months ago. Nothing real special about the pressing, but just a killer album. And this was for Black Friday, Record Store Day, I believe, last November, the SAP EP. So I suppose a lot of people probably ended up picking that up too. Yeah, so just filling out my Alice in Chains collection. As I mentioned, I just had Dirt, and so picked up those two, kind of fill it out. Got a couple records by Tad, which I had heard of before, and I think probably because they've opened for Soundgarden back in the day, and that's probably where I've heard of them, but I never really listened to them. But then there was one night I kind of randomly came across this documentary on YouTube. It came on, I think, with like the autoplay feature or something. Like it just popped up, and I didn't know what it was at first, and kind of started watching it, and it was like, yeah, these guys are pretty badass. So I had to pick up a couple of their records. I got God's Balls on Sub Pop Records. So, it's from that era. This is an original press here, Tad. Again, well, I would say that, like them opening for Soundgarden would kind of make sense. They're kind of like, on the harder side of grunge. Not much like, and stylistically, not much like Soundgarden, I wouldn't say, but, maybe like a heavier Mudhoney, maybe. I don't know. But just, yeah, of that era, and just totally badass. I got this here, Salt Lick EP. This is a reissue on Sub Pop. This has got this cool gatefold too, I will show you. I dig that. I don't know. Man, those are the days. But I wasn't around for that even. But anyway, kind of gives you anxiety looking at a crowd like that a little bit with everything going on. Anyway, so check out Tad. This is one that I thought I had, but I didn't, and so this is one I picked up more recently. Legendary Sunhouse, Father of the Folk Blues. This is like a 70s reissue on Columbia, but real nice copy, still in the shrink. This is one that I kind of got familiar with from like the White Stripes. They ended up covering Death Letter. I think that they did some live renditions of John the Revelator. Preachin' Blues. Some other band might have covered that one. And then, Jack White kind of talked about this album and the song Grinning in Your Face. He says that's his favorite song. So, I'm a big White Stripes fan. And so, I'll check out something that's suggested by Jack White or whatever. But yeah, this is really good. Just him, a guitar, sometimes, without a guitar, sometimes just hand claps and stuff. It's real good. This next one, I imagine a lot of people in the vinyl community probably picked up. Just the latest reissue of Tom Petty's Wildflowers, all the rest. Big gaping hole in my Tom Petty collection. I have everything before this, and I have a couple from after this. This was like one of my favorite Tom Petty albums, and I, kind of wish I would have just picked up that album box set of his later years. But I never jumped on that, and finding an original of this is almost impossible. Some of them are going for a couple $100 at least. But this was a just reissued 3 LP set. It's got the whole album, but then plus all the rest, a bunch of bonus stuff, which is pleasant. The packaging, real nice. Vinyl sounds amazing. I suppose I'm not going to take it all apart here, but yeah, I suppose people probably have showed that in the vinyl community before. But yeah, definitely real happy with that one. I'm glad to add that to my collection. Here's one from Sonic Youth, Bad Moon Rising. I suppose this is probably considered an LP. I don't think it's an EP. But yeah, it's this is a reissue on Homestead Records, so it's from like the later 80s, I'm pretty sure. But this is like an early Sonic Youth. They're pretty wild, pretty noisy. Sonic Youth's one of my favorite bands, but I haven't really explored a whole lot prior to like Evil. I knew this one, but yeah, there's still a couple other things in there I haven't really listened to, and I guess it's pretty far out there. Some of it is, but anyway, yeah, no, this is real cool, and I kind of just dig the whole vibe with this here, the scarecrow and the pumpkin and stuff. It's just like real Halloween, That's killer. That one's also in the shrink too. Real nice condition on that one. Here's one that I was missing from my XTC collection. I think I have all their albums from the 70s up all the way through the 80s, and I didn't have Go To. This is their second album. I could just never really find a nice copy of this anywhere. I'm pretty sure I've seen it out and about, but yeah, this is a real nice copy. XTC is just, a great band. A lot of different sounds, different variety throughout their career and stuff. Mentioned in my last video too, I was kind of on a John Prine kick. And then he ended up passing away. And so a lot of his records have, gone up in value quite a bit. Or at least people are, selling them for that much. And so they're kind of hard to come by. And I might have mentioned in that video too that like I don't think I came across a whole lot of John Prine records as it was. The other ones that I had, I did come across in the wild, but I just don't see them very often anyway. But anyway, I got Bruised Orange by John Prine. Nice, on Asylum Records. Real nice condition on this one too. Nice and clean. But yeah, this is a great John Prine album. Not one to pass up. If you can get your hands on it, go for it. A couple more here. Got Zombies, Odyssey and Oracle. This is one that's been on my wish list for the longest time. This is a 1980s reissue on Rhino Records. So, it's not an original. The original's pretty hard to come by. I don't think I've ever seen an original. I've only seen reissues of this, basically. And I found a nice reissue from the 80s on Rhino. But, again, this has been just on my wish list for the longest time. And it's an album that, I was kind of, vaguely familiar with. And, it's really kind of like grown on me over the years too. And for anyone that's, not familiar with this, the biggest hit on here is Time of the Season. That was probably the biggest zombie hit, really. But anyway, if you're a fan of Pet Sounds, or Sgt. Pepper. This is right up your alley. Do not sleep on this. This is a great album. You know, it probably leans towards the Pet Sounds, you know, side of things, kind of like Baroque pop sort of thing, but groovy cover too. Yeah, no, this is a great album. It's really grown on me, and been listening to that a lot lately. So happy to add that to my collection finally. The last one here, kind of like a blind buy, just look kind of cool. The Cynics, 12 Flights Up. Kind of hard to see the name of the band there. It's the Cynics. They got this cool. This is. I should probably explain this. Okay, it's like a garage rock revival, late 80s, early 90s. You know, real throwback. And it says, "Hey, vinyl is not dead," and this one's colored. So, yeah, if you like the 60s garage stuff, you'll like this, but it's kind of cool because it's, you know, recorded in the 80s or something. Let me get that. It's on the Get Hip Records. Does it say the year? Just so I know what I'm talking about here. 1990. Okay, so this isn't their first album or anything, but this is from 1990, so that's pretty neat, you know. But yeah, it's just on a kind of a clear vinyl there. But yeah, real cool. I just dig that stuff, even if it's like, you know, the 80s revival stuff, you know. So anyway, so that's all I got to show today. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be back soon with some more records to show. Until then, take care and peace.